My parents took $50,000 to stay quiet after a hospital stole my DNA at 14, now I'm 17, and the nurse who used it just asked me to raise the son I never knew I had. When I asked my mom why she hid it, she whispered, "Because we thought you'd never find out." I didn't answer. That was 9 months ago. Yesterday, she sat in the front row at his kindergarten graduation, holding a sign that said, "Go Lucas." I was scrolling through TikTok on the couch when my mom walked in holding a stack of envelopes. Christmas was 3 weeks ago, and she'd made the whole family do those 23andMe tests as her idea of family bonding. "Your results came in," Mom said, tossing me the envelope. She seemed weirdly tense, but I figured she was just stressed about work. I ripped it open while she stood there watching me. The ancestry stuff was boring. Then I scrolled down to the DNA relatives section. My heart stopped. Right there at the top it said, "Child, male, age 3, living within 50 miles. I laughed because what else was I supposed to do? "Mom, their system is broken. Says I have a kid." I showed her my phone screen. The color drained from her face completely. She grabbed the phone from my hands and stared at it. Then she called for my dad in that voice she only uses when something is seriously wrong. Dad came downstairs and they both studied my phone like it was some ancient artifact. They kept exchanging these looks. Finally, Dad said we needed to talk. That's when I started feeling sick to my stomach. They sat me down at the kitchen table like they did when they told me Grandpa died. "There's something we need to tell you," Mom started. Her hands were shaking. "When you were 14, you had your tonsils removed at Riverside Medical." I remembered that. Worst week of my life. Nothing but ice cream and pain meds. "Yeah, so what does that have to do with anything?" Dad cleared his throat. "A few months after your surgery, we got a letter from the hospital. There had been some irregularities with their procedures. They offered us a settlement if we signed some papers." My brain wasn't computing what they were saying. Mom jumped in. "We didn't think you'd ever need to know. The hospital was harvesting genetic material from patients during routine procedures, selling it to fertility clinics." I stood up so fast, the chair fell over. "You're telling me someone stole my sperm when I was 14, and you knew about it?" "We didn't know they'd actually use it," Dad said. He looked older than I'd ever seen him. "The lawyer said the samples were destroyed in the investigation." My phone buzzed. An email from 23andMe. Someone had messaged me through their system. Pili Dogan, the woman who'd used my stolen DNA to have a baby. I clicked on her profile, and there was a picture. A little boy with my exact eyes staring back at me. Mom was crying now. "We took the money for your college fund, $50,000. We thought we were protecting you." I felt like I was drowning. Some stranger out there was raising my biological son. A kid I never chose to create. A kid who existed because a hospital violated me when I was barely a teenager. The room started spinning. The next few days were a blur of lawyers and paperwork. Turns out Pili Dogan was a nurse at Riverside who got fired during the investigation. She'd stolen several samples before they caught her. Used mine for her own IVF procedure. The lawyer said she was filing for child support now because she'd lost her job and was desperate. We met at the lawyer's office a week later. She brought Lucas. That was his name. Lucas. He had my nose and my stupid cowlick that never stays down. He was playing with a tablet in the corner while the adults talked about money and custody and rights. Pili looked exhausted, broken. She kept apologizing and crying. Said she'd been 35 and single and couldn't afford regular IVF. Said she picked me from the medical files because I had good grades and no health issues, like I was a product in a catalog. I know what I did was wrong.